We are going to continue our efforts towards the Eberron adventure for 8th level characters, Crystals of Mabar, that we've been producing here on DMsGuild. Give me a moment to check my signals, make sure we're coming through clear. Signals, make sure we're coming through. Sounds crystal over here. Cool. And now if you follow me on Twitter, I've just posted that I'm live on Twitter, so if you want to catch when I'm live in the future, you can follow me on Twitter and find out as well. So my name is Phil. I create PDF supplements for play with 5th edition D&D. I publish them to the DMsGuild. There is a link in my description down below to the DMsGuild. It gives you a look at a slew of books that I've already produced. You can read them all cover to cover, so you can get an idea of the kind of stuff that I produce, the kind of artwork I make, design decisions, and plus they're pretty cool. So check them out if you like them. Use them. You can play them. All my stuff is built to be used from level 1 to 20, so you are welcome to run a 1 to 20 campaign first for you to acknowledge that the stuff does what I say it does and that it's legit fun when you use it. Otherwise, having your support would be amazing. Liking and subscribing, and then watching other playlists that I have running for development stream, because this file of video isn't what YouTube is super in favor of, because they're not 15 seconds long and they don't get them huger click counts. So let them know that people actually appreciate this stuff by subscribe, like, share, and watch content. That's all I could ever really ask people to do. And if the books I create strike a chord for you, then please purchase and use liberally. I do. We built this book cover we're on episode 82 now. I think I built this cover around episode 30 something. We're on the map now for the cemetery, and if you joined us yesterday morning, we had a ton of fun figuring out how to do this swirling, gross, miasmic water blurble effect thing going on here, which has just been a treasure to discover. So I'm going to crank this back up to, I think it was actually already on 80. That's good, because it's supposed to be on 80. But we're pushing through. We're making goop. It feels pretty goopy, which is already a victory unto itself. But we're gonna keep on keeping on. Blop blop blop. There. And here, and then I think I want to. Nah, I don't think I want to use that wedge. Use a circle. Like that. How we do. Yeah, we're just gonna push pixels for a couple hours. So there, let's get on the block and keep moving, man. We have 20 minutes kicking. We got 2 hours total before we have to pay on to Caesar what is Caesar's. That's our J job, and then do this pretty much every morning. So we'll be back again tomorrow morning, and it'll probably be Eberron. Let's be real. It'll probably be Eberron in the morning. The Spelljammer, the initial editing is almost done, so we're really happy about that. I'm going through right now the process of reviewing the edit suggestions, approving those things that make sense, and when the editing language is clashing with mechanical language that makes the Spelljammers do, then we got to find out some alternate solutions to that stuff. But for the most part, it's all clicking through cleanly. It's just a lot of work. So that's falling into place. This is coming along very nicely. We've got edits that are coming along for the Eberron adventure as well. I'm thinking that the Eberron, the manuscript for this adventure will probably be done. I'm thinking it's going to be done in February. and that will be into layouts in March. So that's going to work out fantastic, because I wouldn't say we're buzzing along on these maps, but we're certainly making progress every day. So that's good, and it's technically not a sprint, and taking my time right now for D&D stuff isn't necessarily a bad idea as Wizards figures out who they're supposed to be. And sadly, Eberron is a is a Wizards IP specific product, or the Eberron world is specifically Wizards IP. So if I'm going to create content for Eberron, it's appropriately it would reside on the DMs Guild, and that's been fine with me for years. I just don't know how much spirit Wizards has been destroying for themselves in the past few weeks, but I think the threat of money will help sort them out eventually, and we'll be back on track. So there's no reason for me to bail on Eberron, because we got some corporate people that don't really understand the world yet. And once they wake up from that dream, everything will be okay again. But yeah, they're definitely taking a shellacking right now, which they deserve. But that is neither here nor there. We got commitments to produce content with other people that have invested good hours of time with me. So I'm just going to keep on with our current course and just put this adventure out there and hope that resonates with folks. I want to do a lot more of these. They take time and obviously a lot of effort to produce them, but you do not belong here. Like that. But if they end up good, then effort worth. There's one more Eberron adventure for sure that I want to produce that we used as a playtest. Actually, if you click on that DMsGuild link down below and you go to the core mechanics and you check in the product description, there's a link to a YouTube channel called Babies with Knives. And I had a 6-hour playtest session there. It was like a sample game to show off how color mana works. And so I had a crew of 4 designers. 2 were the Babies with Knives team, and 2 were dudes from other game systems that were like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll check out color mana, why not? And so I built an adventure in Eberron using color mana for 6th level characters, and none of them had ever played in Eberron before. Some of them were familiar with Magic, but for the most part, they weren't 5e gamers at all. So that playtest was a 6-hour fun run, introducing them to Eberron, 5e, and color Magic at the same time. And the adventure that I produced was something. Anyway, it was so fun running that adventure that I actually want to produce that adventure and also put it on the DMs Guild. It just doesn't happen to be. It was already written. I mean, it's an adventure that already exists, and the reason this adventure exists and that adventure exists, the reason for both of those adventures' existence is, hey, Aeronetico, is because I've built a random story generator for Eberron, and I wanted to. It's basically a plot lead device. Like it has a couple different bullet points. You can roll on a couple tables to create villains and what their plots are, and who their minions are, and what are some hooks for it. But it's it's a random table basically of 100 different options for each of those things, using different themes and creatures and locations and stuff throughout Eberron, which is just a fun little thing to spur your imagination about. Like if you check on the villains list, you can quickly generate a creature lineup of potential villains for characters to investigate, or like all these different locations. Good for like if you want to do an airship race around the world, for instance. You can throw down like 20 different geographic locations and build a race circuit, for instance. Well, we use that that randomizer to create this adventure. We use the randomizer to create the adventure that's in that playtest, and I want to publish that randomizer, and with it include thoughts and my thoughts and comments about adventure design in general, like how do we come up with this adventure, and what were the guiding principles that we have around player choice and DM replayability, and how do we build those into the adventure. These are all things that we want to include in the toolkit. And while we were building this toolkit, we got once we started getting the mechanics locked down, and we started talking about like how to actually implement this as a workflow to be able to produce something that people can enjoy as well. We kept coming across instances in the text where we needed to provide an example of like how do you layer, and like if you look at an encounter, how do you layer it together to be an exploration, social, and combat encounter all at the same time, or how do you be able to shift gears between those different modes of adventure. And every time the most elegant way to introduce those ideas was with an example, but we didn't have a static ongoing example of how an adventure uses this process. So we constantly were having to make up hypothetical situations that by the time we finished writing the example, it was like a half page of text just for the setup. And then it's like 2 lines worth of mechanics that we're trying to express there. It's like, well, fuck it. Let's just build an adventure using these mechanics in general. Make sure it's cool. And then once it is, we can start using it as a reference guide for the design kit. So whenever we're talking about like layering in different, like having multiple plot points that are contradictory to each other that different players can invest in and have different interest in, and how that can create, interesting stress within a one-shot dynamic party without necessarily having to be fighting against each other. That's something that we can just point to this adventure as like, hey, check out, page 13, where it's talking about alternate plot points contradicting the assumed main plot point that's introduced as a hook for the characters. Like we can literally point to the page and directly quote off that page to help create more concise explanations about how that page got created in the first place. So in this instance, it's really good to be able to have like a proof of concept first, and then to be able to reverse engineer back into it. Hey, this is why we did that. This is where this came from. Anyway, Bog's your uncle. Ramble on. So listening to the background while I work, the way water is turning out. Excellent. Love the way the water's turning out. Yeah, it's really turning out well. And thanks for the reminder to switch my frames around. Yeah, water's turning out freaking great, man. I am beyond thrilled. So, but we got a lot on our plate. We're gonna keep pushing at it. It's gonna get done. And honestly, things taking time right now, considering how much Wizards stuck their foot in their mouth, it's probably not a bad idea that I'm caught in production right now. It may actually be the biggest blessing that reality could have handed me, regarding all of this work that we're doing, considering that we can't control what the corporate overlords think about the game or what their ploys may be. We'll survive past them, past their bonuses, past their exit strategy, past whatever the hell it is that they're trying to do. We'll still be here. We'll still be playing games. So most of the time, we'll still be calling it D&D. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing for the past year, and we'll see how the world shakes out and what actually needs to happen when it's time to actually move. I'm just thankful that I don't have any OGL products in production to worry about. I'm just sitting here puttering along on the DMsGuild, so it's just none of the large producers on the DMsGuild are reporting any lossage yet of production. So like they're not losing, like stuff that usually sells that it hasn't suddenly stopped selling. It's just, I don't know, man. It's weird. I wouldn't think it'd be normal for somebody that's exploring DMsGuild for alternate content, wouldn't be looking at other RPGs for alternate content and getting rightly pissed about what's going on in general. But I don't know. Man, it's a gift horse, so I'm not going to look at it in the mouth too closely while it sustains. But I can't produce the content any faster than I produce it, so I'm kind of at the whims of the market right now. And we'll see how that allows itself to sort out. This is my morning cheerleading pitch to get me through another day without being too depressed. Raw. Sally forth, my friends. Do 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 do. So the next question I have for myself is how much do I bear down and finish this specific puddle, or do I move on to other puddles to get them to the same state of disarray? And my gut's telling me the latter instead of the former, so I think I'm about to switch gears. God, I could really just push paint on this for freaking ever. There's a point where it's going to be done, and my efforts aren't adding to it any further, and that is the proper point for me to move on from one particular puddle to another, and then overall to another piece over another. You can only get so far in a piece, and it's either good enough or it's not, and you gotta let it go or you get to keep it. So that's just a reality. Sometimes pictures are scrapped. The faster you can identify a bad thread, the more you can save your time. But in this instance, this thing's a freaking home run. So I'm thinking I want to switch over to another puddle and push all that stuff all along again at the same pace, so that if I accidentally evolve in the middle of this process, that I won't leave behind the other creative components that are relying on the same tech that got an upgrade. So, if that makes any sense. Does it make any sense? My meat, flesh, skull computer analogy doesn't always land properly. Beep, 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 doop. Now I gotta say, that's the nice thing about art versus development and technical documents, is that if it looks cool, it's good. It's appropriate. I don't have to worry about is it mechanically balanced or not, or like, is this using the proper code? It's like, no, it's pixels, man. It looks cool. You're good. You're good. You're good. It's so much simpler. Seriously, wearing like every hat of a design process is just, it's soul warping in a sort of way that you're having identity crises from moment to moment. Like, what standard am I trying to hit today with this role? It can be brutal. I love it though. I wouldn't change it. Actually, that's not true. I would change it. I eventually want to build a studio out of this and disengage from a lot of the writing. I want to focus on technical editing of new mechanical concepts and artwork. Like, those are the two things I want to focus on the most. I would love to be able to hire people to do all the writing of the ideas that we come up with, and me just to spot check the mechanical curve or whatever it is that they're doing to make sure it's folding along with whatever mechanics it is that we have that reinforce them. And then, you know, work on a book cover while we've got a writer or two hammering out the specifics and a writer backing them up. And at the end of it, have something we can all share. That's going to be Kickstarter stuff. I think for me to be able to build, like, I've talked about this before. I'm going to let it go. Well, now I want to listen to Trevor something for like 3 hours. I'll probably listen to Trevor something while I'm working today. This is the kind of nitty-gritty that I can just get caught up on. Like ever, which is why I'm thinking about going to, which is why I'm trying to build up enough momentum to let go of this. Like there's so much satisfaction that is released by doing this paint smudge work. It's really difficult for my system to let that go and start something over, like to start something new. That's essentially the same stuff, just more of, without getting the emotional satisfaction of where I'm pushing this stuff to. I don't think it can be helped, though. I think I gotta do it. And I also want to make sure I don't make it too... There's a lot of gain with the splotches of black intermixed with these streams of smudged blue paint, but the undercoating here, it bends towards that bright, that much higher value blue onto itself, so it's creating this grayish lop in the middle. So I have to be smart about dichotomy like this, having a lot of contrast to continue to drive how interesting these pits are. But the way that the flow works from the edge, it's pulling, you know, medium tone blue from the edges towards the middle. But I have to figure out how to transition from that blue back into black through the gradients that we're creating here, which is an interesting challenge. Like it's starting to blue, but now it has to, like, having it break, like fade into blue and then break back into black suddenly, as a sort of like cycle of like ultra dark. Like it's ultra dark here at the edge. Then you get a pop of blue, and then that blue fades down. It fades into the page, and then there's this other break that we do, the sharp black, and then we can move from that black burst back into the blue here that's surrounding it, like that. And then we can just push that out again. Black, blurble, 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 blurble. Then we can push the blue back into those little black swirly blurbles. Continue on like that, and then start to fade that blue back into another gradient. So it's going from black to blue gradient, black, blue gradient, black, blue gradient, and have those things swirl together and then end up getting messy somewhere here in the mosh pit. I think that's going to work out really well for us. I also think I want to switch gears real quick. Yeah, Muse says jump. So we're going to jump. I'm going to jump over to here, and we're going to start slossing out these other pits. It's time. It's time to do. Look at that. These things are already like super better at just informing that language than where we started with. How just freaking awesome is that? This stuff is intense. Oh, God, that's so cool. A cool little piece. Look at that. God, that's so cool. Oh, I love how this is working out. What a gift. Thank you. That back a bit. I gotta say, this puddle with the starts black and ends up blue with a little bit of black at the other end. That's actually a pretty good background base for this style of depicting water. Like that's worth noting and keeping. Like maybe with instead of black, I could use a green for forest. That'd be fun to explore. Or like in wintertime, having stark just black and white. That might be fun. Like like a really a cool mint blue might be a really cool thing. I don't even know what cool mint blue looks like. But I'm like, yeah, that word makes sense. I bet that created a cold, crisp visual for you colored people. I have no idea. But color me interested. I really want that gradient to work. Wow. I just dropped my opacity to 30 to 40. There you go. The lower opacity lets me smudge in these gradients a little more easily as we're flowing around. Since the basic shapes I pushed out with an 80% pressure in the smudge brush. And now I've dropped it to 40% to make those gradient blends a little easier to produce over here. Since I like the general shape of, the attitude that we've got going on with this puddle, we can afford to soften it a little bit, and the softer it is, the more liquidy it becomes. We want to have at least a little bit of grit to it, like a little bit of edge to show the soiliness of it, like the crystally texture of it, which isn't so much present in the water. But I think you know what? I'm going to take that back. I want it looking really slick and oily, which is going to require the opposite of texture. It's like an untexture. But like the smokiness, the gritty dirtiness, the dirtiness of it needs to come through, and I think that is achieved by the contrast in the colors. So sometimes I talk out of my ass for a minute, but I think I'm back on course. this puddle, so I'm going to move on to the next one here in a minute. And by done with it, I just mean like done for now. I don't know if it's actually done. I think there's opportunities here for me to make this better. But I can only do so good in one sitting, which is not. This is another great example of moving on from. Oh my god, it looks so cool. Being able to move on from puddle to puddle. I'm gonna push that back up to 70 something. That's good. Bah! Wrong button there, Kearney. Get your hand off the stick. If all I'm doing is smudge work, I technically don't need to have my other hand on the keyboard like at all. Just don't make any mistakes, man. You don't need. Well, hell, even if I do make a mistake, I can at least back it up. Anyway. See how long I can go without having to take anything back. I gotta check that out. It's weird that I'd get a burp like that. Man, we've been fine. All right, I don't want to focus over here too much. I've already been working on that puddle. I want to work on another puddle, and that is here. Definitely a two-hand process. Like that. That feels right. Oh my god, I can just feel it. So much fun. Let's go with... Got to keep our clock in mind. This puddle is small enough that we don't have to really worry about rotation too much. It's just messy. And it pulled me right back in. Neat. Yeah, we want to keep that counterclockwise come on, Kearney. Thank you. There. I want to keep that counterclockwise rotation in mind that we spoke about last session. I hear my coffee machine hissing at me in the background. Okay. Okay, big spender. Let's do like that. gonna honestly just come through here and just smudge this stuff up a little bit. See what kind of interesting shapes pop out of this process for us to use as inspiration to build on. What I really want to do is make sure I don't have. I want to develop the challenge to develop a consistent, informative language that infers materials and mechanical intent and purpose while not being bored down to just cutting and pasting similar iconography to, instead of being an artistic expression, it becomes an alphabet, which is not necessarily what I want. That is to say, I want to keep the type of puddles and the type of swirls and the type of goop interaction that we have in these puddles. I want to maintain a lot of difference in them so that each one of them is something that can pull people in specifically or separately, like uniquely, each one. Snowflake here. Hi. That was a ramble statement. Hornetical might have something more intelligent to say. Just had a big breakthrough with the stealth rule. I was trying to figure out. Hey, congratulations, man. Be welcome to crow about it if you want. I'm just hanging out. Yep, timely timers. Keep it timing. Keep it bouncing. So realized that I hadn't finished the difference between powers and normal skills, like the notice. Okay, so I went back and better defined that before specifying how move speed changes your spell. Nice, good. Yeah, stealth is a really fine feature for locking down a lot of that internal physics. Like you said, like figuring out how movement works. It's important for how it interacts with stealth, like action economy and resource expenditure. All that shit folds together to create like its own expressive space. Mechanics like that also help define what kind of a game that you have. Like if your game is a big heist sleuth sort of system, then having more emphasis on stealth as a narrative tool and accessing it to be able to be sneaky as a more general feature is certainly more useful than like a highly board game tactical system where stealth is providing combat advantages specifically without much consideration of like social or exploration in general. So it can have a different type of granularity attached to it depending on what kind of modes of challenge you intend for the game system to lean into, if that makes any sense. I love that. I love that. Oh my god, I just love how that's spun together. It's so fun. Also got to keep the clockwise swirl in mind though. I don't think I have any mention of swirling in the adventure itself, but I'm going to have to do a spot edit to make sure any use of the word counter, like clockwise, is it talking counterclockwise or clockwise? But I don't think I actually have anything other than I think the yeah, the air filter, the pedal pump air filters, I think I don't think we spell out how they spin, but they spin clockwise. Nice. There, gotta keep that curvature into it. It's a very large piece of blue. Really just want to punch in the face. And Muse just said move on, so let's move on. Start off with a couple pockets of blue hate. Let's do that. Ah! Keep it under control, Gurney. Your hands off the stick. There you go, buddy. Just let it fly. Neat. Boom. That one seems to be doing okay. Bop bop. Ba-da bop. I like this song a lot. Bop bop. It's something like that. Alright, Muse says move on. Let's move on. Oof, digging it. Still just digging all of this. This is a fun little piece here. Boom, the pop up. Like that, yes. Bop, bop. Oh, caught in the mosh pit. Oh, caught in the mosh. Coffee time. PN. Let's do something like that. Oh my god, it's only 7? Wow. Oh my god, I just fell into a void space. That was awesome. Holy crap. I do not know where I went, but I just came back. Sorry for the absence, guys. I apparently went on some sort of a journey. Whew. I feel wiser for it. Other dimensions, pay close attention. Ready, 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 woo! That timing, those mews. I love you all. So good. It's God, it's a Bass Nectar remix. I don't know. I don't know the original song, but that whole exchange just fell into that song almost perfectly. Just so much fun. And that's enough of a steaming pile of blurble. I want to move on to the next one. What's up with you? Oh no. What is the up with you? Hold on. Where's my layering? Do like this. And then we do like this. And then we like that. Yeah, we're pretty happy. Back on point. Coffee machine says. All right. I will sip more coffee very well. As you wish. I like this little spot here because there's runoff happening on all sides of it, so like it creates this like little, like that energy has to unspool someplace. Where does it pour out to? Like this is the only instance on the whole map where there's a smooth, easy gradient from concrete, like from flagstone into water, like without there being an embankment drop. So I get to play with that language just a little bit here by just making a broad gradient that pours into the area. Boom. Woo. And then it starts to get rougher over here. That gradient starts to ripple out into other effects around it. I think I can pull that off. Boom. Ooh. Upgrade to a larger brush to pull some more of this mess in quicker. Kinda like that. Ripple out. Just, what a satisfying project. I recognize that Patreon kind of prefers specialization. Like, I'm such a generalist on building things. Like, I should, like, like cartographers like specialize on cartography. I'm going to make more maps today, every day, forever and ever and ever until God takes me. Join my Patreon. I'll give you maps. And artists or like painters are like, hey, I'm going to make illustration after illustration after illustration until God claims me. Come join my Patreon. I will give you illustrations. And I don't know who wants all of that, you know? I don't know. I suspect there'll come a time where I like the studio idea is a means of me not having to be so generalist that I can specialize my role and recruit other people with more specialized roles to help push product faster. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just want to remain a little indie guy. I don't honestly know. I can see those two paths. I just don't know which road. Well, the muse doesn't care right now. She just wants to paint. That's the problem with the muse. She always wants to paint. I mean, it's hardly a problem, babe. Don't worry about it. You're doing great. Keep it up. But the human mind is one to wander. Like, where does it go? What does it do? Was it the right choice? Obviously, it's the right choice because it's the choice that was made. You can't make anything but the right choice. Otherwise, there'd be a different choice to be made. But that would be the right choice. So, impossible to not make the right choice. Now, it's just a matter of how much do you doubt your instincts. And I guess it's okay to muse about what could be or where it could go without actually being committed or bound to it at all, because, as the Buddhists would say, therein lies disappointment. And why the hell would you want to have any of that? If you love what you're doing, don't make it bigger than it is until it's bigger than it is. You know, you'll know it's bigger than it is because you'll go, whoa, that's big. Until then, who cares? That's not to say you can hide inside procrastination forever, but I think you can tell the difference. Phil, my brain is going to invert itself if you get any more to eat. So sorry, man. Oh, that's the space I fall into when my brain goes negative. But isn't that the great thing about art, being able to fall into a space and then have all these clearings occur inside of you while you're going through that process of just not being present? It's letting that shit melt away. It's so satisfying. And just drop a big old mark down the middle of that bad boy right there, going over the middle, splashing on down. I do love me painting some maps. I mean, I guess if everything blows up and the world crumbles, I can always just make maps. I like Texas, because no one has one anymore. I think I've got Texas in here somewhere. I can swear I saw Texas. Swear I saw Texas. Come on, dog. Where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? Oh well, it's hiding. There's Texas in here someplace. But I guess, you know, the human mind being what the human mind is, it's always going to try to fish out things that it recognizes, just as a means to remain in control and to, you know, to have something to touch base on. Was it 725? Yeah, 728. Not bad. Yeah, I'm having a lot of zero space in my mind today. It's fun. This feels very much more than an hour and a half of streaming. This feels more like 3 or 4 that I've kicked through. I mean, in that Zen, no effort, duration sort of thing. You know, you look up and it's been 3 or 4 hours. Like, oh my god, that's what it feels like today. I'm hoping that joy and bliss of discovery retains itself throughout the corporate business day I will fall into in 30 minutes. We'll see. That kind of works. Yeah, oversaturating with too mumuch blue is a risk I think I have. I was looking at that earlier with that smudginess over in the left-hand corner of over bluing it. As over bluing it. Shut up. But yeah, I just want to make sure that I want to make sure that I'm not oversaturating an area with too much of a blanket grayness at any point. You know, I like these little eddies and fingers and wibblies that are flowing throughout it. I just need to figure out a way to retain the coloriness of it. I could swear I worked this area over here. I guess I didn't. That's weird. You would escape my wrath. Keep it up. Everything is just gonna work out fine. I'm glad we went this route. I'm happy to be doing these little half-assed efforts right now. There's something moving through me. Oi. I am experiencing a lot of circuitry reworking happening inside of me right now. I do not know the scope of these things. I just can feel the gremlins are just peeling up machinery, and it is intense. Big circle slurples. Yeah. We're on our last 20-minute stretch. It's 36. Yeah, we're on our last 20-minute stretch. Where are we at? Where are we at with our timer? 15 minutes left? 14:10. Good enough. All right. When I got 14 minutes left on the block. When that pops, I'm done for the day. It'll be 7:50, so it'll give me a few minutes to go outside and get some sun in my eye for a few minutes before I dive into my digital workspace for the day, Corporation Yard to Bartle. And I'll be, this is my stream for the day. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so we will be back on tomorrow morning. Continuing this tomorrow morning. Let's see, it's Wednesday, so this is Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll have that one stream, and then I'll have the morning stream tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Thursday morning stream, and then Thursday evening stream as well. And I'm working on the Spelljammer edit, the post-edit cleanup for the Spelljammer document right now. So that is, Adam is looking to have that wrapped up here in the next week or so he can move on to another project. And it should be in a space where we can effectively drop it into layouts and start building out the actual scaffold for the document itself, and start looking at finalized text for the Spelljammer book, which is exciting. That'll be here on stream only until it publishes. The old Spelljammer playtest document is far from relevant anymore. There's still mechanical details in there that are relevant, but we've restructured a lot of stuff, simplified some things, reworked some of the wording, but the basic play loop still works the same. The action economy is still very, very much intact, and the scaling and the free flow of the ship movement and character interaction is all intact. Just streamlined it a little bit, cleaned up the language some, standardized how things are presented. I think it's stronger for it, actually a lot stronger for it. We found some gaps in like when you're designing new mechanical systems, there's a lot of stuff that you feel is kind of like inferred, but when you look through the documents, like, you know what, I never, like squadrons, for example, of multiple ships. Each ship has its own hit point supply. When you create a squadron out of ships, how do you resolve hit point distribution across multiple ships? Because there's a sizable difference between 5 ships being brought down to 1 hit point each versus I had 5 ships and now I only have 4. Like that impacts your firepower, that impacts the area that you can control, your ability to drag things. All those are affected by how many ships are in your squadron. So you have to kind of suss through how do I mitigate that damage versus how much control does the attacker have over which ship in a squadron gets shot, yada yada yada. Like there was intentions and intuitions about how that stuff works, but during the course of the document realized, it actually didn't lay any of those ground rules out specifically for DMs to take and build into rulings. So, because you can always have an exception to the rule. It's just nice to be able to lock down what the rule is. And this is as much as Wizards is pissing everyone off right now. Their one D&D system as a base system meant to be modified, coding everything so that it's just simply triggering off of proficiency bonus, is a very simple scaffold to build as your base. I question their ability to balance around it because I don't, they're because they gutted their intelligent design team. Crawford and Perkins might be smart, but they also have limited bandwidth of which they can apply that intellect towards things. And I know they picked up Justice Armin, who's also incredibly smart, but he too has limited bandwidth, and the less people they have there at Wizards producing content, the less time they can give detail. The faster if they continue to decide to push out books, like 5 books a year or whatever, then they don't have the design team to back it up. Everything's going to continue to feel thin and trite because they don't have the ability to invest the time to dive into the deep mechanical detail to make sure it's a solid product, which is, I'd say, the biggest shortcoming of this generation of 5e in general. 5e being as cool a system as it is, it doesn't have enough big brain being applied to it to build it into, like, it's there. Like 5e is WotC's system. They created it. They should really be, in my opinion, leading the charge on like, here's what we intend for these mechanics to be able to do. And I think if they just had more, if they had just more RD budget, we'd see a lot cooler shit coming out. Like this heist book that's coming out next month. They've got a heist book coming out, a book about stealing. What crappy timing. God, can you guys just like pull your fucking foot out of your mouth for like 5 minutes and say something intelligent? But I'm really concerned that this heist book is going to be just a bunch of half-assed adventures and a timing clock. I can't imagine WotC having added to a conversation like what is WotC going to say that's going to break any ground on how to run a heist in a 5e based game that hasn't already been outclassed and outmatched by content producers? Like, freaking, I want to hold your beer, dudes. Show us. Make something powerful. And I don't think this heist book is going to be it. I know their VTT isn't going to be it because that's a joke. I don't know how Wizards can inspire anybody right now. I don't think they have the capability of doing it. This is a damn shame. I mean, they inspired me to make books because of their shortcomings, but it's not the same. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the same thing. That's not my wish. I wish for them to impress me, for God's sake. Just impress me. Wizards hasn't impressed me, boy, since since Book of Nine Swords in 3rd edition. That was the last time Wizards of the Coast actually actually impressed me. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like, I haven't said that since Book of the Nine Swords. It's been, God, like 16 years since Wizards has really caught me off guard with something pleasant. Are very different. Yes, they are. Very different. Being inspired to do something better because you're so disappointed in a production is that doesn't sustain joy. That curates obsession, and that's not a healthy place ultimately to be. If you're gonna keep putting out content, make it good, please, for fuck's sake. All right, I'm falling into a DM rant again. I need to pull myself out of the spin on that one because that's been a rant I visited, I think, a little bit too often lately. I mean, I guess I got to put the rage someplace, right? Let's look at that. Big old puddles of pain. Let's go over down to this guy. Let's see what we can just build out here. And these little puddles might be a lot of fun. I have a fun. I don't know. I don't know if there's any. I think I've come up with a fairly unique mechanic to build a full game around. I need to do a little research to see if there's anything else out there that plays the way that I'm thinking about. But I have the first inklings of a unique, versatile RPG. I don't want to talk about it too much yet because it's still percolating, but I've got ideas. I've got ideas for a game. And I want to finish all this other stuff first. Because I absolutely want to stay with the epic scale, the guilds, the organizations, the kingdom building, all that stuff. I want that. And whatever game it is that I end up creating, all that shit has to be in there because that's all I ever think about. Obviously. So, I mean, obviously it has to be in there if that's all I think about. I want to create a structure that really leans into that, being able to pan in and out of being a person to like being an individual character to an organization. These are all things I want to play along. But I think once I'm done with all this stuff in the DMsGuild, I think we're gonna have a really good base for me to be able to jump off of and build that indie game. We'll see. And by then, I mean, the whole OGL thing will sort itself out by the time I get to it. So, again, me being patient is staying the course of what I'm doing is probably the healthiest thing that I can do. Little puddles are cool. All right, I've got just a few moments left here before the stream is over for the day. I am very, very looking forward to coming back and exploring this space, fleshing it out a little bit more tomorrow. I got the asteroid field for the Neogi hunt, that the Night Spider hunt that we've got going for Spelljammer, and I don't see myself spending a lot of time on stream on that one. That'll probably be just something I bounce on when I'm off stream. But having said that, I think most of the production for this, for the remnants of this cemetery, I think I'll probably be reserving a lot of the production time for this particular piece. I think I'm going to be keeping that in the mornings and the streams that we do here. Just because it's dedicated time and it seems to be pretty productive for me, and it's certainly a great way to start my day. It's such a free-flowing, intuitive experience. It really sets me up to win for the rest of the day, I feel. So I kind of like being here with this. I don't mind it taking a little while, but I don't want to futz on it forever, you know? I'm not trying to hide or procrastinate inside of this thing at all. It's just something that needs to get done. Take some time. Do like that. These little pieces, I think these are, I think the larger puddles has allowed us the opportunity now to be able to break down into these smaller pieces. So I will eat crow here for a second and completely walk that statement I just made back, because I feel there is I think I have enough mechanical language now for me to come back and hit all these little graves. All 110 of them or whatever it is I still have on the map here, to be able to drop like little puddle pieces in each one of these like this to make these things flesh out and be a little bit more unique than they are. Like just do little things like that. Like to add in like this. Little blurbly things like that. That sort of stuff. Well, now I freaking started. I gotta finish it. God damn it, dude. There we go. Just blend that down. I'm just blending this in and then I'm going to bounce. I only got like a few moments left. I'm actually pushing into the time I wanted to grab some coffee, but she's insisting that I finish off this little expression here. She is, I can tell she's doing this because she wants to shift my timeline for the day, like off a few inches. Just so I land on things a little, like 4 hours from now, I'll totally get why I wanted to shunt my time frame a few minutes. Like something is gonna pan out here. I could know in a moment, but I suspect I won't for a couple hours. There, good enough. Stuff like that for every one of these stupid graves. That is the fate that we have chosen for ourselves. That's why we get paid the big bucks. yeah, so that's it for the day. I suspect that blue is popping out at people. I want to have more black in there so it can pop out for me too. But I am, when we get down to this level, or we zoom in even to, let's get that grid back up in. So far, everything seems to still be panning out a-okay. We'll drop this into a VTT just to make sure that all the gridding is showing up proper. But so far, so good. Yeah. All right, guys. That's we're gonna go ahead and cut this for the day. Man, I love this. All right, super fun. That's it. We're bouncing out of here. I will see you guys in 22 hours. I hope you have a great day. Like, subscribe, check out my other streams. Subscribing and liking and logging hours of content is the best way you can help me with this channel right now. Definitely check out my books. You're welcome to read them for free if you like them and you think it's something that you want to play with, and buy them, of course. There's a lot of added features in the zip folders that come along with the purchase beyond just the book themselves. So grabbing my stuff is worth it. And if you know where I'm at on Discord, shout out at me. If you find me on Twitter at Phil Kearney, like me, follow me so that you can get notification when I go live like this again. And I will see you in the marrow. So thanks for hanging out, and catch you later. Bye.